Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you may be watching this. You guys, yesterday I put up a short showing you guys the connection between the FBI director, Cash Patel, and his girlfriend to Turning Point USA. Today I'm going to clarify. We're going to go deep because there are allegations against this woman saying that she is a honeypot for Cash Patel. So let me begin by simply defining honeypot because I do think that this is like very, very important. Um, Alex Alexis Wilkins, that's his girlfriend, the longtime girlfriend of FBI Director Cash Patel, is suing an ex-agent and self-described whistleblower for defamation. Allegedly, he called her a former Israeli spy whose relationship with Cash Patel is a honeypot operation. We have heard people recently using that same language where Ericka Kirk was to Charlie Kirk, that she was a honeypot for him. So you look at Charlie Kirk, adorable. Like I'm in my 50s. He was in his 30s. He could be my son. He's adorable. But Ericka Kirk is gorgeous. Look at Alexis Wilkins and then look at Cash Patel. Honeypot definition. Many definitions focus on the idea of appealing sexuality, like appealing sexuality, right? A honeypot refers to an attractive person who draws in others, much like bees are attracted to sweet honey. A honeypot is a term that refers to a trap or decoy used to attract and deceive people, particularly those seeking something they desire. It has its roots in the practice of beekeeping, where honey is used as a vulva or vagina. In espionage, a honeypot is a spy, typically attractive and female, who uses sex to trap and blackmail a target. A woman who attracts sexual attention from men is also referred to as a honeypot. The things we learn when we begin to look. I say it all the time, friends and family and fellow watchers on the wall. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. And I know that a lot of people love to love me. There are just as many people that love to hate me. And a lot of people, for them, the drawing line is how I feel about Israel, which I find like very narrow minded. You know, I love Jesus. If you don't watch me because I love Jesus, then that is also very narrow minded. And that is what's happening in America. We're being divvied up, we're being put into tribes, especially the conservative party. You know, if you're Catholic, you're here. If you're Protestant, you're here. If you're Mormon, you're here. If you're, what do we call them? The Muslims, you're over here, right? You're either left or you're right. You're either anti LGBTQ plus or you're for LGBTQ plus. It doesn't, nobody's allowing people to be nuanced. Humans are very nuanced. You know what I'm saying? Like you and I may agree on 90% of stuff, but we don't agree on 10%. But that 10% is what people's going to hold against me. I had a conversation before I get into this topic. I really feel like I share this right now with a lady yesterday that I used to go to church with. And she was very upset about something. And she was saying how, the pastor that we had just heard, she didn't agree with because her feelings were hurt over some stuff. And I told her, oh, she said he was very hypocritical. And I said, I just want to point this out to you that that gentleman has done more for this community spiritually, monetarily, physically than you and I ever will. You need to focus on what he has done for you, positive, than the one or two things that you feel like he's dropped the ball on. And I think that's where people mess up. We want to focus in on what we don't agree on, and it's destroying our country. We need to focus in on what we do agree on. And what I'm going to show you today is flipping mind blowing. When I told y'all that freedom of speech is under attack, it is coming mainly from neoconservatives. I mean, Cash Patel's girlfriend is suing someone over defamation for pointing out a couple of key factors and what he believes. So he can't share what he believes. You know, we got what's going on with Candace Owens and the Macrons. And I've said this for day one. I think they're working together because Candace Owens is controlled opposition, because I don't see her discussing this. You know what I'm saying? I also am beginning to feel like that with Ericka Kirk, controlled opposition. So if you've not picked up your copy of Growing Under a Poison Sky, we just published this like 2 months ago. It's an amazing book, you guys. It talks about weather modification, what's happening in the skies, the chemicals, how to clean your soil, your body, your water. But it mainly just opens your eyes to why things like autism and cancer rates are just quadrupling across America. So I just want to share that with you guys. YouTube does not pay me. If you want to row in our boat, please do. My husband has surgery in 12 days. He just left to go back to work. He goes to work sick every single day because we don't have sick days left. All right, so let's get into this. You can look in the top of comments if you want to row into the boat. All right, FBI Director Cash Patel's girlfriend sues ex-FBI agent for defamation over Israeli spy claim. FBI Director Cash Patel's girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins, is suing ex-agent Kyle Serafian for defamation for calling her a former Mossad agent and suggesting her relationship with Patel is a honeypot. Serafian pushed back on the lawsuit allegations and noted that similar claims about Wilkins have previously surfaced on social media. She's suing him for $5 million in damages. This is her. This is her. This is Cash Patel. I mean, really, in the real world where you and I live, this match probably wouldn't happen. Okay. Alexis Wilkins, the longtime girlfriend of FBI Director Cash Patel, is suing an ex-agent and self-described whistleblower for defamation, for calling her an Israeli spy and a honeypot. The defendant says Kyle Serafian has maliciously lied about Wilkins by falsely asserting that she, an American-born country singer, is an agent of a foreign government assigned to manipulate and compromise the director of the FBI. Who believes the FBI is doing everything right about the Charlie Kirk assassination? If you would rate the FBI's job so far on the Charlie Kirk assassination, 1, if you think that they're doing a horrific job, 10, if you think they've done the best they can, and any number in between, please put that in comments and then just kind of give me a little explanation why you believe that. So I'm going to show you who she's suing. She's suing this guy, Kyle Serafian, who has 13,000 subscribers on YouTube, folks. That means he had 814 views on this video 3 months ago. He probably made $40 off that video, but she's suing him for $5 million. That's equivalent to suing InfoWars for $1 billion. You see what I'm saying? Like, you could have sued this man for 100,000 and it would have done plenty of damage if it wasn't true. You didn't have to go 5 million. That's very few YouTubers, average normal people like you and I who don't have the connections, couldn't pay that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we couldn't come up with that. That would devastate. So I'm just going to let you hear him for a second. He's going to discuss what I've been trying to tell everybody over and over and over again, that the Republican Party is being split on purpose. Just listen.
This is something that is just maybe not being considered. It's maybe not being discussed. And it just shows you the flippancy that some of these folks are involved in. And the second thing that came out of this little clip, and there's just a couple little clips. This interview, as far as I know, has not been released just yet. But we have people that are making very, very strong statements that are leaders and representatives of very strong factions within the right wing. I'm fairly confident that both Tucker and Ted Cruz are pro-MAGA, pro-Donald Trump guys. And they have a big divide on this space, which is why I named the episode the way I did. The thing that most people don't realize is that you can have people in this world that don't always act the same way all the time. Arnold Schwarzenegger's a great example. He was terrible about COVID tyranny. He was a screw your freedom guy when it came to things that some of us drew a red line on. And yet he also still understands that this is a country of immigrants that have to come here legally, and you still have to have rule of law. You know, we're not all just one thing. And Israel is that to the United States. There's a really, really simple thing. I see, my buddy Ryan Matta out there putting some really asinine tweets out. He's been posting things saying, God bless Iran. No. That's moronic. It's horrible. You have to understand that you can have people that are not always your friend, and you all have someone like that in your life. You know, like someone that if you needed a favor from, you might call them, but you wouldn't leave your kids with them if you were in a pinch. You'd rather just like have them sit in the car and sweat. You know those people, they exist. And that's Israel to the United States. As far as I could tell, there were counterintelligence operations. There were all kinds of ops being run. And yet we sort of allowed them to keep their hand in the cookie jar. They've done things to the United States that we sort of tolerate, that we know are adversarial, but we also use them and we see them as more friend than foe. Listen to this little interaction about Mossad and about intel components. It seems to like blow Tucker's mind, but this is rarely a black and white world when you start dealing with the intelligence and the amount of ops that are being spun. And the American public right now are dealing with an op. That op is, is there just one good guy? Is there just one answer to this? And the answer is kind of like a gray zone, which is why there actually is debate and why you're seeing a divide in people that otherwise would normally agree. That's why you're seeing people like Mark Levin stand up and fighting against guys like Owen Schroyer when both of them would have been on the same side when it came to, like, let's say November and the election, right? Here's a little taste of this. This is Ted Cruz again and Tucker Carlson going head to head talking about intelligence capabilities and working against the United States and what it means to have an ally. And doesn't mean it's always. It's rare that you have every single thing we see the same way.
Does Mossad share all of its intelligence with us?
Oh, probably not, but they share a lot. We don't share all of our intelligence with them, but we share a lot. It's a close alliance.
Do they spy domestically in the United States?
Oh, they probably do, and we do as well. And friends and allies spy on each other. And I assume all of our allies spy on us.
And that's okay with you?
You know what? One of the things about being a conservative is that you're not naive and utopian. You don't think humans are all. Part of the reason socialism doesn't work is the mantra from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs doesn't work. As a conservative, I assume people act in their rational self-interest.
So it's conservative to pay people to spy on you?
It's conservative to recognize that human beings act in their own self-interest, and every one of our friends spies on us. And I'm not.
Do you like it? That's my question. I'm not asking whether they have motive to do it. Of course they do. I understand that, and by the way, I'm not mad at them. But you're an American lawmaker, so I just want to know. Hold on, I want to know your attitude. Yeah. You said that your guiding principle, in fact, the only principle, the only criterion.
I said guiding, the overwhelming. I wouldn't say only.
Is it in America's interest? Is it in America's interest for Israel to spy on us, including on the president?
It is in America's interest to be closely allied with Israel because we get huge benefits for it. And you want to see the clearest.
But I just want to stop on this spying for a second. That it takes place, as you know, and including on the president of the United States and several precedents. And I just want to know if that's okay and why is it okay? Wouldn't an American lawmaker say to a client state, you're not allowed to spy on us? I'm sorry. I know why you want to. I'm not mad at you, but you're not allowed to.
Sure.
And I don't care for it. I don't want to be spied on by you. It's kind of weird not to say that, but you don't seem able to say that.
All right. I actually think Tucker loses that back and forth. I think he won the first one. Pointing out ignorance of the country that you want to go through and topple a regime on, that's a problem. When you start talking about the intelligence world and you start acting like there's absolutes and black and whites, that this is the reason why we shouldn't have the intelligence apparatus pointed inside to America, because they operate in gray zones. They operate without any of the constitutional restrictions because they're only interested in information. And information is not immediately something that has action. The minute they have actions, like you put it in the hands of the FBI, that's when you start having real problems. Tucker is doing a fake naivete in that state. I don't think that he is so naive as to say that he doesn't understand what's going on there. There are things that the Israelis do offer, and the foothold that they offer is more likely than not, it probably balances pro-U.S. interests more than not, but that means it does come at a cost. And there's a reason why they're not part of the Five Eyes. They're not part of our closest circle of intel partners. He's out there trying to point out that the world should be black and white in a world that is obviously not. Every single one of you have done it. It's part of the reason why I played that Arnold Schwarzenegger clip. Many of you were pissed off at that man, but reality is he said things that all of you would probably agree with, where you're like, yeah.
That's what I wanted you guys to understand. This is the guy that Cash Patel's fiance is suing for $5 million. I think he sounds very rational. I mean, like, I could have a cup of coffee with this dude and be like, yo, Kyle, what do you think about this? Would he and I agree on everything? No, I don't agree on everything with my own husband. I don't agree on everything with my parents. I definitely don't agree on everything with my children. But I guess the difference with me and my family is we have these great, deep conversations, and we all leave really respectful of each other, having gained a different perspective. If you are only listening to people that you 100% agree with, you are not going to grow as a person, friend. Now, I want to show you this one. I don't know if this is AI narrating or not. I don't even care about that. It's what it says. Listen, this is so interesting. Why haven't we heard about this?
Of the new FBI director somehow tied to the Epstein file controversy? Social media thinks so, and it's setting off a firestorm. Today we're breaking down the facts, the claims, and the conspiracy theories behind why Alexis Wilkins, a 26-year-old country singer, is suddenly being mentioned in the same breath as Jeffrey Epstein and...
Let me stop right here and tell you guys something. I have said this in a previous video, like a week ago. I have always felt like it was somebody on the right, some conservative, that assassinated or put together the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I've always felt that way because he felt very strongly about the Epstein files. He wanted those given to the American people in their totality and allow the American people to make up their own minds what they wanted to believe, what they didn't want to believe. He always supported Israel, though he did have reservations about what was going to happen to the people in Gaza if, they fully took it back over, what was going to happen. Why did October 7th happen? Though he questioned it, he still understood the importance of who and why Israel is where it is and why America should continue to support it. But I'm just saying, now that I find out that Cash Patel's girlfriend is also involved in TPUSA. Oh my gosh, just watch. You're going to see it.
the FBI. Let's get into it. What's the story here? Kash Patel, 45, recently stepped into the role of FBI director. He's known for pushing for the release of Epstein-related files in the past. Now that he's in charge, those files suddenly don't exist. On Monday, the U.S. Justice Department said Epstein did not keep a client list. That's a direct contradiction to what many in the public, including former officials, believed. Even former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi once claimed on Fox News that the Epstein list was sitting on my desk. Now, the DOJ says no list, no files, nothing more to release. What's Alexis Wilkins got to do with this? Alexis Wilkins is a country singer. She's 19 years younger than Kash Patel. She's also a contributor at PragerU, a conservative media group. Here's where it gets messy. Online commenters have tied PragerU to Israel and accused it of being a Zionist front. Some claim its CEO has ties to Mossad, Israel's national intelligence agency. And that's where the conspiracy ramps up. The theory goes, Epstein ran a blackmail operation. He worked for Mossad. Releasing the client list would end that leverage. So, anyone connected to Mossad or Israel would want to bury the files. Add in Alexis Wilkins' PragerU connection, and some internet sleuths are saying, this explains the cover-up. What are people saying online? Posts on Reddit, X, and Facebook are exploding. One viral comment says, Kash Patel used to say the FBI had the Epstein files. Now he's in charge and says they don't exist? What changed?
What do you guys think about Epstein supposedly being a Mossad asset? I've never seen actual evidence that that's true. And that's why I'm asking, what do you think? I have never seen any evidence that that is true. ever. Honestly, I think he had more connections to the United Nations. Like, I think it's way bigger than just, the 15 million Jews in the world, being very honest. I think there's more like a United Nations connection with the moving of millions, hundreds of millions of people around the world. Because the UN, our own president said that in his speech. The UN is destroying the Western civilization on purpose, I've even heard people connected to the UN sustainability goals and the World Economic Forum make the statement that the Western world had the first part of the industrialization, those centuries. It is now time for India. It's now time for Africa. It's not now time for the Muslim world to have all the money, all the fame, all the technology. And so it's like this weird topsy-turvy. But let me show you the connection between Kash Patel's girlfriend, who is a country singer. She's a country and Western singer. Where was Ericka Kirk? Where was her? She was in a movie video. You guys remember that? For a country and Western singer. She ziplined in a country Western video. It's weird. There's too many connections between these people. How can the FBI investigate the assassination of Charlie Kirk when you've got somebody that works for TPUSA in the bed with the director of the FBI? You guys, that's what honeypot means. You don't think she's not whispering to him? You'd be naive to believe that.
People actually fall for this shit. Why is she at these Turning Point USA events? It's so weird. After the death of Charlie Kirk, I have so many questions. We know the FBI is lying to us. And if you've been following Candace Owens, there's something up. What is this girl doing? What
University with This is the Turning Point tour. I am so happy to be here. I wanted to let you know that this event is happening. I know that people try to make great effort to stop us in our movement and what we are doing, but we cannot be stopped. Simply put, we cannot be stopped. So if you are in the area, if you are on campus, please come down. We have a huge theater here to host you in, and we plan on having a great event honoring the work that Turning Point does and, of course, the life of Charlie Kirk. So please come. We welcome you with open arms.
I cannot continue without thanking you for instrumental people for our track record. I want to thank Dalton Nelson, Matt Steeler, and the TPUSA events team.
Man, she loves all this attention. Does she not? She does. She absolutely loves it. That's why I think she's probably working for the Israeli government. I'm telling you, there's so many red flags here, and people eat it up. Country music, sing God Bless the USA. Only sheeple people will eat that up. I see a lot of red flags. Listen, if you don't see the red flags, piss up a rope. But there are too many red flags to count, folks. What do you think? And you guys are watching the Off Topic Show right here. Make sure you guys go to Compound Censored. Use promo code Off Topic to save 20% off your monthly and yearly subscriptions when you guys subscribe using promo code Off Topic.
Hold on. You were talking about something else I thought was kind of interesting. Oh, let me just show y'all this. Tell me if you don't feel like they're trying to build an army.
We'll get hooked on her voice and not even care.
From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA.
But I think people will get hooked on her voice and not even care.
From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time you stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and
beans. We just mutated Anunnaki genes.
Did y'all see that? She goes, let me show you. Let me get all this out of the way so I can show it to you without all that in the background. She doesn't go, she went like this. And I'm just saying, I know a lot of people have their own opinions of Israel. That's fine. Have your own opinion. I've already done biblical Bible studies on this topic. I'm not going to waste any more time on that. I like PragerU. I align a lot with PragerU. Just because she's been there doesn't necessarily bother me. People can be double agents. Does it make any sense to you? She looks like she's working for Israel to some people because they connect her to PragerU and to Turning Point USA, you know, and Charlie Kirk, who obviously supported Israel. But maybe there's like somebody else she's involved in. She cannot be with Kash Patel. That is not an organic relationship. I'm gonna have to deep dive who connected them and his rise to fame side by side with her. It's very much like the Ericka Kirk with Charlie, the connections, who put them together, who was her family. So who is this girl's family? You know what I'm saying? It's all bloodlines, friends. You know, if you go back and you look at royalty, they married their families. Egyptians did it. Muslims do it. The English royalty did it. Mormons do it. Rich people do this. They keep it in the family because they're running a long game. You and I are just living our best lives, right? We go to church, pay our tithes, pay our taxes. We're good people. We would never be part of some of the stuff that these people do and then get on stage and say, God bless America and God bless Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you and I wouldn't be part of that, but they'll be the people that lead you, like by the nose, by your emotions, to wherever they want you to go. I say it on this channel a lot. Our feelings don't matter. It doesn't matter how we feel. It matters what the facts are. And the facts are, this is weird. This is very, very weird. And now I'm finding, like I heard the other day, I haven't checked the birth dates. I should have done it before I brought this up, but it's already out of my mouth, so I might as well say it. That Ericka Kirk was 5 years older than Charlie Kirk. Like, and they got Cash Patel with this very young girl. That's a huge difference in age. And she's introducing him at TPUSA events for young adults. It's always about the kids, you guys. Something just stinks. I don't know. I just knew I had to share this with you guys. So she's going to sue the one person, the one ex-FBI agent, and her husband, or sorry, her boyfriend is the director of the FBI. But she's not going to sue any other content creators that bring forth what other people are saying and the connections, just the ex-FBI agent. Wonder what else he knows. What? You seeing what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down, friends? You guys have a blessed day. Last video of the day. Just remember, this is what Jesus said was going to happen. Like, confusion would abound because we serve a God of order. So where there is chaos, that is where Satan is. And that is all you see over the Charlie Kirk assassination. I've even quit talking about what angle has he been shot at. Did he have a bulletproof vest on? You know, who shot him? Where they shot him from? Because legitimately, we know nothing. The FBI and Ericka Kirk have put out that there was a lone shooter, and nobody believes that. But there's no other evidence. And now, you know, so much information has been put forward. Looks like it's been AI digitally recreated or changed or messed with, that I've stopped looking at it because it's not going to help. Nobody's going to be able to determine how he was killed. They didn't even do an autopsy, to my knowledge. I've double checked that. If they did, they don't have to tell us and they don't have to release it. It would be extremely odd, though, in a murder trial, that there not be an autopsy. And some people are going to say, oh no, my family member died. We didn't do an autopsy. Yeah, in a murder trial, you most definitely do. You have to retrieve the bullet. So if it was still in his head and it didn't exit, how did you get the bullet out of his head if you didn't do an autopsy? Because you have to have the bullet, friend, to tie it to the weapon, to tie it to the shooter. You're seeing it, right? You don't have a murder trial where you don't do an autopsy. An autopsy is it's not just how they died, it's evidence on the body. It's entry wounds and exit wounds, because a lot of times when they're doing murder trials, they'll have a forensic specialist come in and be like, the weapon was fired from this angle because it went into the neck at a 43-degree angle, which means the shooter had to have been at 100 feet in the air. Do you see what I'm saying? Without an autopsy, it's very murky, very murky. And then you find out that in Utah, I'm just saying, all that Mormon connections, I've already told you where he was shot at. That area is called the Dragon, the Serpent. Charlie Kirk's name, the church, is what it means. So the church is assassinated in the place of the dragon, right, by a Mormon. And now we're seeing another Mormon come forward and burn down a Mormon church. We're seeing a lot of military people doing mass shootings, mass casualty events. That connects to the Black Awakening. I know people don't want to talk about this, but this is the truth of it. It's very, very deep. And now we have Charlie Kirk. You know, the judge over the case has only been on the bench like 6 months. You have no experience at this. No, guys. I don't know. I'm just human. I'm just like you. I just have questions. I have a lot of questions. What I don't like is to see all these people running in the same circles, being in control of the same thing. That is conflicting. You know, here's a girl in bed with the FBI director who is directly connected to TPUSA. She's opening events singing. Whatever narrative they want pushed forth, she's the perfect person to push it forth. And by the way, Alexis, I'm not calling you a honeypot. Do not sue me. So if you'd like to support our channel, look in the top of comments. I reapplied, you guys, on September 10th, the day Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I've heard nothing from YouTube. I know they're giving Trump money and they're reinstating platforms, but it does not mean they are still a private company. I don't know. But please remember to grab you a copy of Growing Under a Poison Sky. I have one more book that I'm auctioning. In other words, I'll sign it and mail it to you if you would like to donate to my husband's surgery. I have to get a minimum amount of money for it. So if you'd like to offer something, just reach out through in the top of comments, one of the different ways. But I love you guys. I had to get supper started. I just thought, why is nobody talking about this? But like 2 or 3 small platforms. Off Topic is the one that showed it to me, but very few people are actually putting time and effort to show you the connections between Cash Patel, his girlfriend, Turning Point USA. Like nobody even wants to touch it now that she's suing somebody. So I love you guys. It's another way to keep people off, you know. It's exactly what they did with InfoWars. Whether or not you believed that was all staged and the crisis actors and stuff. And I think people misunderstood my video yesterday. I was just introducing crisis actors to you. I do believe Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Everything else feels very fake, though. As far as we know, he was assassinated somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like it is all smoke and mirrors. But I do absolutely believe that that man is dead because his character was steady for 10 years. I don't believe that he would leave his children in this world willingly without him. I'm serious about that. And I feel in my spirit, not my feelings, but just confirmation the Lord has given me that he is most definitely dead. But everything else just feels so very wrong. So you guys tell me what you think. I love you guys. Have a blessed night. Talk to you tomorrow.